Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the April meeting of the LCTC Board of Supervisors. Thanks for joining us today. Before we begin, I'd like to remind you that the board is being live streamed to all of our many followers.
Thank you, Mr. President. At this time, I'd like to call this meeting to order. And I will ask Supervisor Hollins to lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. At this time, I will ask Ms. Poole to call the roll.
Yes, sir, we'll be happy to do so. Chair Hardy
Here.
is present. Supervisor Smith is absent. Supervisor Moody is absent. Supervisor Burt is absent. Supervisor Butler McIntyre
I'm here.
is present. Supervisor Hall
Present.
is present. Supervisor Hogan is present. Supervisor Hollins
Present.
is present. Supervisor Kelly
Present.
is present. Supervisor Lowry
Present.
is present. Supervisor McConduit is absent. Supervisor Mount
Present.
is present. Supervisor Robinson is absent. Supervisor Wilkinson
Present.
is present. Supervisor Williams is absent. At this time, Chair, we do have a quorum for today's meeting.
Thank you, Ms. Poole.
You're welcome.
At this time, I ask whether there has been any request for public comment related to one of the enumerated agenda items on today's meeting agenda. This is a reminder that public comment must be related to a specific agenda item.
No, sir, we do not have public comment at this time.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
At this time, I request a motion to amend the agenda to include layoff of water plan for Delgado Community College under Personnel Committee as an item J14.
Motion by Supervisor Mount, seconded by Supervisor Hall.
Moved and seconded. Is there discussion? Is there opposition? Hearing none, motion carries. This time, I request a motion to approve the April 8th, 2026 meeting agenda as amended to include item J.14, left board's plan for Delgado Community College.
Motion by Supervisor Hogan, seconded by Supervisor Hollins.
Moved and seconded. Is there discussion? Is there opposition? Hearing none, motion carries. This time, I request a motion to approve the February 4th, 2026 meeting minutes.
Motion by Supervisor Butler McIntyre, seconded by Supervisor Mount.
Moved and seconded. Is there discussion? Is there opposition? Hearing none, motion carries. This time I present the consent agenda items for consideration by the board. We have a recommendation.
Yeah, so the staff recommends the board approve the consent agenda, which consists of agenda items G1 through G4.
Do I have a motion?
Motion by Supervisor Hogan, seconded by Supervisor Mount.
Moved and seconded. Is there discussion? Is there opposition? Hearing none, that motion carries. At this time, I will provide the following report. As the chair, first, and this is really touches me. We got a letter of resignation from Supervisor Paul Price. It was effective on the 3rd, I believe, of this month. And he has served this board nobly since 2009. And let me just say, Supervisor Price was really, really special. He served in every position. He's been chair. But when I tell you, still waters can run deep. He was always calm, but his leadership was noble. And I think those of us that served with him, I'm sure you do as well as Supervisor Mount, served with him for a number of years. So, former Supervisor Price, if you're listening, thank you so much for your service. It was absolutely fantastic. And could we just please give him a round of applause? I'd also like to mention LCTCS Day at the Capitol. Every year, I really enjoy that. We get a chance to kind of highlight who we are. And we usually start the morning off by having student leaders that we address and have a few donuts and coffee, and have a chance to spend some time with them. And it sort of reminds us all of what we do and why this work is so important. We get a chance to talk to the legislators too. I mean, it's the full day, but it's the student leaders and the students and the chancellors and the professors and the teachers and the staff from all around the state that come to the Capitol and sort of showcase who we are and what we do. So I just thought it was great. Thank you for those of you that came out and attended. It is just always one of the highlights of legislative session. So again, thank you very much. Also, I'd like to report as part of my report. We had a chance, we being the president, myself, and a chancellor, to go to a GLI event in Miami. Every time I think I know a lot about what we do and what we ought to do, I go to one of these GLIs and find out that I don't know as much as I thought I would. I learn something every time I go. We even did role play, some challenges between supervisors, trustees, and presidents, which those haven't arisen with us. But if they ever do, it's really clear how they ought to be handled in a very civil way. But it was really enjoyable. It's always enjoyable to spend time with trustees from all around the country, from other places, because we do learn a lot from other people's successes and other people's challenges. And so, and got a chance to spend some quality time with the president. And so it was really enjoyable. And I just suggest that in the future, as our funds allow, it would be really good for others of us to attend some of those GLIs. Good news is ACCT puts up a lot of money for them, so it's a great event. Also, I'd like to state that as of 2025 and 2026, the board leadership comes to an end of their service. And so the governance committee is tasked with nominating the 2026-2027 board leadership per the LCTCS Board of Supervisors bylaws. As such, I have spoken with Supervisor William Mount, chair of the governance committee, who will handle this duty and will bring the recommended nominations from the governance committee to the board at the June meeting. So we look forward to that, Supervisor Mount. That ends my report. At this time, I will turn it over to President Nelson for his report.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So it's been an exciting, 98 days now or something like that. I'm really excited about the direction the system's going in. I think that we're going to talk about the legislation that's currently pending and some of the impacts that will have. But I think there's a lot of excitement. I think it's the state in general. I think there's a lot of excitement in the legislature, the governor, everywhere else, of the direction that we're going. Pretty exciting 98 days. Looking forward to the next 98 days and see what we can do. I guess we haven't fixed all the issues, but I think we're on our way. We've got some good hires with new executive council. We have a new VP of technology that's coming on board too very soon to try and help us, I would say, maybe modernize some of our technology systems. So it's going to be a great thing. I think first of all, we'd like to invite Dr. LaBeouf. I think is going to give us an update on the Skills USA, the competition that happened March 18th to the 20th down at Solo CC.
Yeah. Good morning, Chair Hardy, President Nelson, members of the board. As those of you who Remember, every year we have all of our colleges who participate in the student organization or national organization that's really focused on secondary and post-secondary workforce development for students who are in career and technical education pathways to compete, but also as a network of resources professionally to allow these individuals not only to sharpen soft skills, but also to display and showcase what they're learning in the classroom for employers and partners as well. This year, the Skills USA State Conference did include our post-secondary students and our secondary partners as well. We are appreciative to SOLA CC for being the main host site in partnership with University of Louisiana at Lafayette, who also helped. So I want to extend our appreciation to both of those institutions and partners. It was held March 18th through the 20th. I'd like to thank Quentin Kelly, who on the team really coordinated the efforts for this year. We had 291 students this year participate in competitions. We had over 308 students who were registered for the annual conference. The registration did increase over 68 students from last year to this year. We have 43 individual students and 7 teams who received gold medals. Silver medals was 35 individuals and 6 teams, and bronze medals was 27 individuals and 6 teams. A total of 105 individual awards and 19 team awards. As you look forward to June, every year in June, these students who receive a certain level have an opportunity to compete at nationals. That is going to happen the first week of June in Atlanta. 59 students have qualified to advance to National Skills Competition and Leadership Conference in Atlanta. And also this year, we added a new component where we partnered with NACE, which is the national organization around entrepreneurship for students. And students had an opportunity to pitch a business that in which they wanted to start up. We did regional competitions and national competitions. An investment of $50,000 that we received from the organization allowed students to pitch regionally at 2 locations and then pitch their final competition at nationals. The winning student actually received $12,500 in scholarship dollars to help them start up their company. And then ultimately, there were other second and third place prizes that went to scholarships for students as well. So adding that component also allowed us to bring a different dynamic to this year's skills competition. And I'll open it up for any questions. Okay, no, that's it.
No question. Well, with that, we'll go into the college-specific updates. First of all, Delgado on April 10th, which is this Friday, they'll have their 12th or 24th annual Roast of the Town that would be roasting Mayor Helena Moreno. The celebrity roasters are the Honorable Joseph Giarrusso, Amy Quirk, Honorable Cedric Richmond, and Jason Williams, and Michael Hecht will be serving as Master of Ceremonies. This event successfully brought together regional leaders to support student success and contribute over $1 million to the roast and other philanthropic initiatives. I will be there, so everybody should come. North Shore Technical Community College just had their 11th annual Chancellor's Breakfast. Began in 2006 with just 6 scholarships of $3,500. This year, they hosted 3 events and awarded 72 scholarships that were totaled more than $115,000, representing a strong growth in the community support behind the initiative. Suella was recently awarded a $2 million grant from a local philanthropic organization. Those funds will go to scholarships, purchase equipment for the nursing, culinary arts, welding, industrial, electrical, P-Tech, drafting, digital arts, and aviation programs. Pretty much everything. And then the local organizations provided over $18 million in support for Suella since 2007. BRCC will graduate the largest number of associate completers in the college's history. They also received a $472,000 investment from Ochsner, supporting their mobile healthcare simulation and training lab. At Fletcher, they received an AW-109 helicopter frame that was donated by the Bristow Group to support their helideck landing officer training program in partnership with Maersk. The training will be housed at the Maritime Safety and Training Facility on the east side of Houma. Fletcher also received Portland Coast Guard site approvals for QMED, which is a training for mariners to support engine room operations, and Takerman training in partnership with San Jacinto College, expanding their maritime workforce training offering. Some program-related updates. Fletcher's offering free CDL training through a partnership with Venture Global LNG as part of their Will to Skill initiative. Their inaugural cohort for the cardiovascular sonography degree program will complete its first program in July, and the first cohort of the radiological technology degree program will begin clinical rotations this August. at Nunez Community College. They hosted an official NASA recognized Artemis II launch party, which was detailed in the Times-Picayune, if anybody did read that article. They watched, the 75 attendees watched the historic milestone of the Artemis' launch to the moon. Nunez is the home of the Louisiana's only aerospace manufacturing technology program, which we're looking to get more money to renovate her building, if anybody's interested. Alumni helped build, Nunez alumni helped build the space launch system that was the most powerful rocket ever launched and is, I guess, currently going around the moon. 4 news teams were on site for 24 hours leading up to the event and reporting live during the launch. College received exceptional media exposure for this. SOLA-CC was recently recognized as a national finalist for the Bellwether Awards, which is one of the most prestigious honors in community college innovation. SOLA-CC was selected in the planning, governance, and finance category for the campus advisory board model, which reflects their commitment to meaningful and intentional community engagement and responsive institutional planning. During the competition, the team had the opportunity to present alongside leading institutions from across the country. Even though they were not the final award winner, they being named a Bellwether finalist is a significant distinction and affirms the strength and impact of their work. So, Mr. Chair, that concludes the President's report.
Thank you, President Nelson. Board development item?
Sure, I'd like to invite Dr. LaBeouf back up to present the board development.
Good morning again. So this morning's board development session is really just an overview of where we stand with 2026 regular legislative session. We are on week 5 of regular session. It began March 9th. We go through June 1st. This is a non-fiscal session. At this point, there's been over 2,000 bills filed. We've shared our tracker with each of the board members with about 70 or a little over 70 bills that we're tracking specifically on behalf of the system that range anywhere from education, fiscal to workforce development and so on. You each received a copy of the priority sheet, which outlines the 4 sort of priorities that the system is focused on as high level. And then additionally, I'll walk us through additional bills in which where we stand is some of the priorities. But to highlight, you'll see in the top 2, it references a supplemental request. Each of our colleges submitted forward their supplemental request to help in the landscape of workforce development and operationally expansion in those spaces. We also have a system request of a skills to job pathway fund, as you'll see listed there, which helps us ultimately expand to reach qualified instructors, expand in the adult education pipeline, and also the recruitment standpoint. And then you have House Bill 807, which is priority 3, which establishes a workforce instructor capacity investment program. We're asking legislatures to establish a program and consider making appropriations. This is specifically for areas in which it's hard to recruit and retain talented faculty members who ultimately can make more money in industry than we can pay them working for us. And so how do we build the capacity up so we can partner with industry to solve that shortage of faculty and instructors so we can expand our offerings and our programs to meet the workforce need. And then House Bill 482, which is the 4th item, is TOPS Tech eligibility. This expands on the current form of TOPS Tech. TOPS Tech is within the TOPS program, as it's known as a merit scholarship for our state, but TOPS Tech is really focused on the workforce alignment, CTE alignment for our students. And so many, as we know, our students go part-time. Many of them need the flexibility. Many of them are required to take the ACT score, have a certain GPA. And so we're trying to look at the students in which we serve. How do we move the needle with the state and creating a flexibility with the TOPS Tech aspect that is encompassed in the TOPS umbrella. I'll just start at highlight as we look this session. There are some workforce and pipeline development bills related to WIOA and workforce system reorganization. So Louisiana Works is ultimately bringing forward a bill that would restructure the 15 workforce development boards into one statewide workforce development board that ultimately, in partnership with our students, where we see co-location of workforce development boards at our colleges, as well as impacts just the work that we do. Ultimately, they're trying to make sure that the dollars available go specifically more to training than administrative overhead. And our colleges obviously will benefit the more wraparound services and dollars for our students. We also see the career alignment. There was a career alignment task force that was put together last legislative session that has dropped a bill this session that's focused on aligning the linkage of education in secondary and middle school all the way through post-secondary employment and wages, and tracking those workforce outcomes. So being intentional and building a dashboard that tracks this, and a site in which that anybody can follow and understand the career linkage. So more so, if you want to be a welder, this is what you could make. This is what the outcome looks like, versus having to figure out, is a welder the right opportunity for a career? The others, TOPS related, there are a few other TOPS bills this session that are specifically listed out there. One is around TOPS for docs. Others is around data transparency. There's others around potentially if a student gets TOPS and doesn't complete, do they pay that money back? Is it a loan component now? So there's always TOPS related bills out there. There's always MJ Foster related bills. In the last few sessions as well, there's an MJ Foster bill right now that they're considering to freeze the age back to 21 to make it a true adult promise program as it originally was intended for 2 years, because the pot of money is limited. As you may recall, some of you, we talked in the last few years about the program being built, then the capacity of the program was 10.5 million. Then they increased the capacity to 40 million, where they could allocate $40 million of funds to the program. Ultimately, they have not allocated $40 million. Right now it's at 10.5 million. And so they've requested to consider a freeze to the age 21 for 2 years until maybe a point in time where they can see additional allocations come to the program. There is in the executive budget an additional request for 14.5 million to increase MJ Foster Promise Program to a total of 25 million, but that will be determined at some point if they actually will allocate and put forward that 14.5 million to bring the program up. So there's a bill to freeze that at this point. You'll also may see two sort of related to safety, student safety and accountability. There's continued bills around student disciplinary proceedings, as well as hazing reform and the hazing that we've seen at universities. Those have been brought forth. There is the accreditation and governance bill. As you may recall, there was an executive order by the governor for a task force that was created. Our chair served on the task force to study accreditation for our state. There's a bill that is actually in committee today on accreditation, and ultimately making sure that the accreditation is flexible for institutions to choose the right accreditation versus a specific accreditation that may have historically been SAC COC. And then there's broader governance discussions around regents and the oversight of bills related to regents' role and regents' oversight of maybe the financial aspects and the accountability standpoint. There's also bills with incumbent worker training program. So asking the employers to invest more money into what they're putting into the fund so that the fund is more stabilized, so it can do the work that it needs to do in upskilling and reskilling individuals within employers. And our colleges obviously play a role in that with customized training and applying for the grant and being a training provider. There is the WEO restructuring and reauthorization that's happening here in the state, as well as conversation at the federal level, but ultimately that's House Bill 680 and component of our state being able to do what it needs to do with WIOA standpoint. We do get adult education dollars from the WIOA perspective from the federal standpoint, as well as we try to align our Perkins CTE and WIOA so that they are aligned to meet the students' needs. We had an opportunity to present in House Appropriations and Senate Finance on the higher education budget overall, and sort of the state of the system for all systems, as well as LCTC system relative to our ask and our budget and our standpoint. And both President Nelson and Chair Hardy were present and presented as requested. And then there's the continued capital outlay conversation that continues to occur. And so ultimately, there's a lot of bills out there, as mentioned, related to workforce, education, higher education, budget components. And then there's ongoing conversations. There was last night and this morning, a HCR that was filed to study the higher education funding formula, and which everyone's trying to figure out what that looks like as well. And so more to come, but I'll open it up for questions.
I have a quick one. I think I missed, House Bill 482, because we've been looking a lot at all of this. Just like you said, there's so many tops. I just saw so much, I think I just missed this one. So you said it's the program design on House Bill 482. So they're looking to redesign?
Yes, so they're looking to expand the eligibility of the current structure. So the current eligibility is you must have a 2.5 GPA, you must have a 17 on your ACT score or a work key score, you must graduate as a first-time freshman, enter as a full-time student. So they're looking at eligibility expansion that may be more flexible, as well as the dollar amount that's being put into the fund. So right now, it's up to tuition cost. And when you look at a student who may receive TOPS and choose to go to a 2-year or a 4-year, depending, let's say they receive opportunity and they have an opportunity to choose. Oftentimes there's conversations about award levels and packages, and a student who may choose a 4-year university may choose it because on face value, the amount that the student's receiving as a merit scholarship is much more than the $3,200 they're receiving to come to our institutions. So we're asking for an increase in that as well, based off up to tuition and fees amount. So we're trying to not only create flexibility, but streamline and strengthen the merit award that a student may receive. But there are 7 TOPS bills right now out there. There are some related to dual enrollment aspects, some related to TOPS for Doc, some related to TOPS Tech, some related to studying the TOPS program again, some related to TOPS that is the loan aspect if you don't complete and you owe it back. We've done 423 studies on TOPS as the state of Louisiana, and we still haven't gotten it right.
Still there, yeah.
Yes.
Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
I may have some more questions, but I'll get to them. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions?
You said 70?
71 bills that we're tracking as a system.
Thank you, Dr. LaBeouf. That would conclude our board development.
Okay, next, Supervisor Hollins, are you prepared to present the academic action item for consideration by the board?
Yes, sir.
Proceed.
Our academic action item for consideration by the board. Note at this time that no action is required on items J1 through J4, but I'm going to ask Dr. LaBeouf if you would start with item J1 and provide you accreditation update.
Yes. So for item J1, I would ask that Chancellor Spillers join me, specifically that we spend today's accreditation item on Northwest, who has made it through its accreditation visit in March and ultimately wants to give an update of where they stand as they get to the final approval in June.
Good morning, Chair Hardy, President Nelson, members of the board. Thank you for allowing me to come forward with this today. So we hosted our final SACS COC committee visit the week of March the 2nd. They reviewed our compliance certification documents. And at this time, I am super happy to share that they had no findings of our compliance report. And of course, the committee cannot make any type of ruling. That will certainly go before their board, and that will take place in June. So stay tuned for after June 11th for hopefully some really good news. But anyway, at this time, I also want to take time to thank some people because we could not have gotten here over these last few years without so many people, their support in this. Supervisors Hall and Hogan, I want to thank you for taking time to be interviewed with this committee. I know that was time out of your day, so thank you for that. And the rest of the board as well for all of your support through these years, through this process. Ms. Erica Poole, I'm going to do a shout out to you because I called her many times to pull evidence for me, and she was there even on the weekend. Thank you for that. We have some wonderful friends at Central that I want to shout out to, Dr. Saltel, Dr. Poole, blazing the trail for us and always being there to answer questions. Bill Tulak, Dr. Palermo's team, especially Bill Tulak for being there for us, always answering questions all hours of the day. He is a walking, talking encyclopedia of accreditation. So he was absolutely amazing. But I especially want to call out our very talented NLTCC leaders. Renee Sears, who's my Vice Chancellor of Academic, Student Affairs, and Workforce. She had a heavy lift and that a hard role. And she did an amazing job with her teams of deans, directors, or associate vice chancellors. And so really when you see her, give her a pat on the back. That's a tough job. Miss Melanie Sotak, that is our Chief Financial Officer, and her finance team. She shared with me she has 6 full scope audits. That is a lot. You know, that's very stressful. No findings all throughout all of that. So amazing job to them. And of course, our faculty and staff, they've learned so much through this process. I think this really helped rebuild Northwest. And I'm just proud of the work that they put into this and their commitment to Northwest. So again, thank you all. Look forward to some more good news in June.
And that's the report update. So no other information. Accreditation.
Thank you.
All right, agenda item J2, review and advisement revisions to the LCTC system policy number 1.011. Accreditation.
Yes, thank you. So what you have in front of you is the policy for review and advisement only. The revisions made large in part is out of the task force and the ongoing conversation just and discussion this legislative session, which is specifically removing language that we have had historically that it says the LCTCS Board of Supervisors determines that our institutions are best served by SAC-COC. And so as we open up the accreditation conversation and flexibility, we want to make sure our policy is broad in nature as well. So it removes that, but it also adds in the campus eligibility for federal student aid programs authorized by Title IV of the Higher Education Act. So just making sure that there's ensuring accountability and flexibility in the policy when it comes to federal financial aid as well. So if there are no questions, I will read the recommendation. Staff recommends that the LCTC System Board of Supervisors accept for review and advisement the attached revisions to the LCTC System Policy 1.011 accreditation.
No action is required. So we'll move on to agenda item J3, review and advisement revisions to the LCTC system policy number 2.005, student organizations.
Yes, so specifically, when you look at this policy for review and advisement around student organizations, as defined in statute, student organization must provide 2 hours of hazing prevention training to all members, prospective members, and anyone employed or volunteers within that student organization. The revision of the policy updates that the training requirements align to the revisions in the state law. It additionally uses the word shall was changed to may and provide colleges the flexibility as it relates to providing tuition waivers for SGA executive board members. And so in the policy, it's just updating from shall to may, and if applicable, relate to the tuition waivers, as well as specifically saying at least what used to be a 1 hour training, it's now 2 hour training in law. So any questions?
Yeah, Dr. LaBeouf, the question I would have is, I know there's a bill working its way through the process now in honor of the young man that passed at Southern.
Yes.
Would that affect these revisions any?
This is actually aligning us to what is from the recommendation of that hazing task force and what they're proposing.
Okay.
If no questions, I'll read recommendation. Staff recommends that the LCTC System Board of Supervisors accept for review and advisement the attached revisions to LCTC System Policy 2.005 student organizations.
Okay, there is no action required on that agenda item either. So agenda item J4, review and advisement revisions to the LCTC System Policy number 2.012. Student referendum.
Yes, so specifically this policy, when you look at any student referendum policy that involves fees, they must receive prior to the student from the Board of Supervisors before the students can do the action on campus, which will have an agenda item after this related to that. But ultimately, the policy outlines the requirement, the policies and procedures in which the college must follow in order to bring a referendum forward. current policy specifically states that it must be acknowledged by a title, and the title of being Vice Chancellor for Student Affairs. Not all of our colleges have some of those titles in that space. So we want to be mindful that we're creating the organizational structure with a minor revision that allows for the leader of student affairs, whoever that may be, and the chancellor to make those approvals in the appropriate fashion. We also had the language that referenced when we had the director of the technical institutes and technical colleges in there. We want to clean that up so it helps colleges as they begin to think through future for referendums or other student organizations, that they just have the right process that matches the policy. So this is a cleanup. If there's any questions, if none, I'll read the recommendation. Staff recommends that the LCTC System Board of Supervisors accept for review and advisement the attached revisions to the LCTC System Policy 2.012 Student Referenda.
Okay, there is no action required there, so we will move to agenda item J5, student referendum for Fletcher Technical Community College.
Yes, thank you for that item. I would invite the members of Fletcher Technical Community College to come forward and discuss their student referendum and their request.
Good morning, Chair Hardy, President Nelson, members of the board. I am excited to be with some members of my team and a student today to talk to you about a student referendum that we would like to engage in at Fletcher. I'm joined by Dr. Anna Nanny, who is the Vice Chancellor for Enrollment and Student Development. So a little change in title there, as we just talked about. And one of our student leaders, Mr. Arthur Williams, who is studying in our criminal justice program and is a member of our CASA group. And so I'd like to provide just a little bit of a backdrop that helps explain why we are bringing this student referendum forward. A few years ago, we began to see a pretty significant drop-off in the interest in our Student Government Association. Not just interest, but also in participation. And we struggled over years trying to figure out what was the right answer, how could we get more students involved, and we just were not successful in many of our attempts. And I think it was for a variety of different reasons. The first being that we have onboarded a lot more short-term certification and training, so students didn't feel like making a year-long commitment to a student government association was something that they could do. Certainly our students have, challenges, life issues that pop up over the course of the year that sometimes prohibit their full participation or, again, a year-long participation in this type of program. And so when we looked at this, we went back to sort of the base and we said, why do we have Student Government Association? And it was to develop leaders and to provide leadership opportunities for students, but also to provide a voice of the students to the administration and staff at the institution. And so with that fundamental sort of belief, we went back to the drawing board and we said, we want to create something new that we hoped would provide opportunities for students to be more involved. And what was the outcome of that was what we call the Chancellor's Association of Student Advisors. This is a group of students who now are nominated by faculty, department heads, deans to participate and represent their individual unit within the college, their department within the college, to this group who meets regularly, monthly, with me directly and with my leadership team. The outcome of that has been really significant. First of all, we have students who have been identified by their faculty and their dean as individuals who possess leadership potential, who are going to take this responsibility seriously, and will come to these meetings. But more importantly than that, I think what I love about this new model is that we ask students to serve for a semester. So if you are in a program that is a short-term program, maybe it's an 8-week or even a semester, you can participate in this program. If they want to continue into the next semester, they can do that as well. We provide them with the same opportunities. You'll hear from Mr. Williams here in a minute that we just recently sent our students to a national student government conference for leadership that was held in Rome. So we're looking to provide those opportunities, but we want to do it in a way that is responsive to what our students' needs are, and not asking them to commit to something that might be beyond their reach. And what we saw, quite frankly, was that they weren't. Many of our positions went unfilled. And in many instances, we had a single individual who stepped up and there wasn't even a vote to be had. And then a lot of times those folks disappeared as life happened to them. So we piloted this concept this past fall and to great success. Our students have been very active. They have come to the table with some amazing recommendations of how to improve student life and the student experience at Fletcher. They have been engaged in volunteering for things. They put me in a group meet, which I had not had a whole lot of experience with. And let me tell you, I have a hard time some days keeping up with the ideas and the conversations in the group meet with the students, but it's really been very special. So with that, we would like to continue with this model. We think that it's working for our students. But as we rolled it out, we recognized that a lot of our policies and procedures, both at the institutional level and at the system level, specifically speak to Student Government Association. And so we've been working with President Nelson and his team at the system office to revise a lot of those to be more inclusive, to allow for some of these more innovative groups. But part and parcel of that is our SGA fee that we had, and that's sort of the focus of this referendum. So I'd like to turn it over to Dr. Nanny, who can talk a little bit more specifically about the fee and where we're trying to go.
Yeah, thanks, Dr. Strickland. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for allowing us to speak to you today. Historically, our students have paid a essentially $20 in fees to support our student government association, student life, student affairs. As you all just heard, we are no longer having a structured SGA. So in order to charge an SGA fee would not be an accurate thing to do. So what we've decided to do is, instead of asking students to pay a $5 SGA fee and a $15 student activity fee, we want to propose to put out to a vote that $5 SGA fee that we are no longer charging moves over to the student activity fee, where they would pay $20 for the student activity fee. That would give us an opportunity to support our student clubs, our student life efforts, to focus on what we can do to build up our students and do so in a way that follows our policy.
And I'd also like to introduce and welcome Mr. Arthur Williams, our student who serves on our CASA advisory board, maybe to talk a little bit about his experience with CASA and this vote and representing our students.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Ms. Dr. Strickland. I am here as a member of the CASA board. From being on this board, I can say it's been a wild experience, from traditional student government to just advising the actual person that runs the college. And the members and I feel that this board will structure student life in a way that we didn't have prior to this board. We can use the ideas that come across our board to better the lives of every student that may not even be at our school right now. You know, in teaching, Dr. Strickland, the group me was one of the main things we came up with in our first meeting. It's like, hey, how can we communicate with her better the way we communicate as a younger generation? So I feel, along with the rest of our board, this fee combined together is going to help us with the ideas that come across our board, because we don't have the SGA. We do have this wonderful board, which is CASA.
And we're happy to answer any questions that you might have for us.
Questions?
If not, I'll read the recommendation. Staff recommends that the LCTC System Board of Supervisors authorize Fletcher Technical Community College to conduct a student referendum to increase the current student activity fee from $15 to $20 per semester.
Is there a motion on the staff recommendation?
Motion by Supervisor Matt, seconded by Supervisor Hall.
Okay, it's been motion and second. Any discussion or debate on the agenda item? On the motion? No discussion, no debate. It has been properly motioned and second. Are there any objections to the motion and the second? Hearing none, so moved.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you. Call for your innovation. All right, Mr. Chair, that concludes the academic agenda items. Before we move to the facility items on the agenda, I would like to recuse myself from items J6 and J7 from the discussion and vote on those items.
Please let the record reflect Collins has recused himself. In the absence of Chair and Vice Chair of the Facilities Committee, I will present facilities action items for consideration by the board. The first, Act 959 project for Sorella Technical Community College.
Yes, good morning, Mr. Chair, President Nelson, members, happy to be with you today. This first item is for authority for an Act 959 project for Sorella Technical Community College. This act authorizes certain capital projects to be undertaken by our colleges, not to exceed $10 million based upon a variety of funding sources. In this case, the college anticipates receiving a grant from FEMA through the Hazard Mitigation Grant Program with an estimated project budget of a little over $1.4 million to enhance the building envelope of the Charleston building. It'll allow them to replace all the windows, bring those up to a greater hurricane standard. We are currently funding a project at that building through our deferred maintenance program. So this will allow us to shift those funds to additional projects on campus. And the 959 process will allow us to proceed to manage this project through the grant with that authority. The projects approved under this act require board approval. They will require Board of Regents approval, and then approval by the Joint Committee Legislative on the Budget, JLCB.
You have heard the recommendation. Is there a motion?
Second.
Okay, motion by Supervisor Mount, seconded by Supervisor Butler McIntyre.
Been moved and seconded. Is there discussion? Is there opposition? Hearing none, motion carried. Next item, planning and construction for LCTC system facilities related to Act 35.
Yeah, so just a couple of high-level updates. We've talked about Act 35 since the 2025 legislative session, of course, which started as Senate Bill 72, which was sponsored by Senator Mike Reese and signed by the governor into law as Act 35. It provides for financing and construction of specifically 8 capital improvement projects across the system. And it really builds upon the success of prior bond programs, Act 360 and Act 391. It has a different financing structure from those acts. Those acts prior had a defined amount of funds and a specific list of projects. Act 35 allows the board to issue bonds to finance construction up to an annual debt service limit of $43.9 million. So finance a little bit differently. It gives the board a little bit more flexibility to work these 8 projects, but also the board has ability to add, remove, or change projects without additional legislative approval. So it is a program that will give flexibility to the institutions and the board to be much more responsive to industry community investment without having to go through the regular capital outlay process. The projects that are currently identified in Act 35 include, I'll just read them out just so we have it: North Shore Technical Community College, Hammond Campus, River Parishes Community College, Donaldsonville Campus, Sorella Technical Community College, Lamar Salter Campus, Northwest Louisiana Technical Community College, Shreveport Campus, Louisiana Delta Community College, Bastrop Campus, Central Louisiana Technical Community College, Rye Brady Campus, and the Ward H. Nash and Boyles Campus, and South Louisiana Community College, T.H. Harris Campus in Opelousas. Prior to bonds being issued, each college is required by the act to come up with a 12% match requirement. So there is, skin in the game essentially for the institutions, and that this act gives us a little bit different flexibility for that match requirement than the prior program. So it can be a combination of things, can be a combination of public can use land appraisal. So we have some flexibility working through our corporation to develop that match with the colleges. At this time, currently Northwest Louisiana Technical Community College Shreveport project and the Delta Community College Bachelor project are anticipated to be included in the initial bond sale, as both institutions appear to have satisfied their 12% match requirement. The Shreveport project is approximately $25 million, and the Bachelor project is approximately $14.5 million. Bond counsel is going to review those submissions with the institutions and present that to the LCTC Facilities Corporation Board for final approval on those match certifications. And then at a subsequent meeting of the board, we will present the final list of projects to this board ahead of that initial bond sale. As approved, or if approved, the system president and board council will work on a cooperative endeavor agreement and related documents on behalf of the board. The CEA that we will be working on will be an agreement between the Facilities Corporation, the LCTC board, and the Division of Administration. It's structured similar to CEAs we had for the prior bond programs, but it will reflect the new changes with the financing structure under Act 35. At a subsequent meeting, we will present a consideration for final approval and ultimately execution of those documents prior to that initial bond sale. At this time, we are projecting first phase bond sale, hopefully by the end of July. And then at that point, we will continue to evaluate projects, new project requests as needed. We will bring to the board, and each of those will be accompanied by a facility study or an economic development assessment that's going to help the board determine prioritization of those projects. We'll continue to seek approvals as necessary from other state agencies to make this program successful. And ultimately, this is a significant program that's going to give some great flexibility to the system. I do want to say this does not negate or remove our ability to seek funding through capital outlay. So capital outlay will still be a tool that we have to address capital issues. Obviously, that will tie into legislative interest and priorities we have on that side. But for those colleges who are able to secure the match funding and the bond capacity allows us to do subsequent sales, this will be a program that we will be able to continue to use alongside those other options. So happy to answer any questions. I know that's a lot. Happy to answer any questions. I have some of the team here if you have some questions that they need to answer.
In summary, it's just flexibility.
Absolutely. Okay, I'll read the recommendation. Staff recommends that the LCTC System Board of Supervisors authorize the use of Act 35 of the 2025 regular session of the Louisiana Legislature for financing and construction of facilities for community and technical colleges. Staff also recommends that the board authorize the system president and/or the vice president of administration to enter into a cooperative endeavor agreement, execute any associated documents, and seek necessary approvals to facilitate the use of Act 35. The executed CEA and related documents will be maintained on file in office of the vice president of administration.
You've heard the recommendation. Is there a motion for approval?
Motion by Supervisor Hall, seconded by Supervisor Wilkinson.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there discussion? Is there opposition? Hearing none, motion carries. Number 8, acquisition of property for Baton Rouge Community College.
Yes, sir. This is a request from BRCC, who is proposing to acquire 3 acres of commercially zoned property located on the east side at the Mid-City campus, directly adjacent to the newly constructed nursing and allied health facility. Given the property's location and the contiguous boundaries, we are not required to do any RFP work, so we can sole source this purchase. The proposed purchase represents a strategic investment in the college's long-term growth and development, and specifically the college intends to expand its process technology program through the addition of a glycol training unit, which will provide students with hands-on industry relevant training that simulates real-world operational environments. The purchase price will still needs to be negotiated fully and shall not exceed the appraised value in accordance with applicable law for property purchases. BRCC intends to utilize self-generated funds for the acquisition. It will not exceed the total purchase price of $4 million. I can answer any questions about this one.
First, is there a motion?
I need to read the recommendation first.
Is there a second?
I'm gonna read the that's good. Staff recommends that the LCTC System Board of Supervisors authorize the president and the chancellor of Baton Rouge Community College to negotiate and execute all documents necessary to acquire property adjacent to the Mid-City campus. This transaction will be filed with the appropriate local clerk of court and the state land office in accordance with applicable statutory requirements.
I'm sorry, your explanations are so thorough. This time, now.
Is there a motion? Motion by
Is there a
Supervisor
motion?
Butler McIntyre, seconded by Supervisor Howe.
Been moved and seconded. Now is there discussion? Is there opposition? Hearing none, motion carries. Thank you. Supervisor Butler McIntyre, are you prepared to present the finance action item for consideration?
Mr. Chair, I am ready and prepared. We are on number 9, the amendment to professional services contract between the LCTC System Board of Supervisors and Phelps Dunbar LLP. Mr. Screen, you ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Good morning, Chair Hardy, President Nelson, and members of the board. First of all, I want to say hello and introduce myself. I started as general counsel for the system on March 2nd, and I'm thrilled to be in this position and look forward to working with each of you moving forward. The action before you is simply a request to ensure that there are sufficient funds in the contract for representation by Phelps Dunbar on a active commercial dispute at this time, and happy to answer any questions. With that, I'll read the recommendation. Staff recommends that the LCTC System Board of Supervisors approves an amendment to the existing legal services contract with Phelps Dunbar LLP to increase the contract amount by $30,000. If approved, the total contract will be increased to $145,000 for the period beginning July 1, 2025 and ending June 30th, 2026. This amendment is contingent upon approval by the Office of Attorney General, the Office of General Counsel, and the Office of State Procurement.
You heard the recommendation. Is there a motion?
Motion by Supervisor Collins, seconded by Supervisor Hogan.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion, question?
No question. So that's pretty severe from 30 to 145.
So the original contract is 115. It's just adding 30 to that to make it 145.
Thanks.
Yes.
Any other question?
This increase was for, say again, the specific reason?
Yes, sir. It's there's an existing commercial dispute that Phelps has represented the system on before I arrived. There's not sufficient funds in the account as it were right now. So this is additional funds to ensure that there's enough funds to complete the representation.
Any other questions, discussion? Any objections? If not, the motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Stern.
Sure.
Thank you. At this time, Supervisor Mount, you prepared to present the governance action items for consideration by the board?
I am, Chair Hardy. Item 10, location change of LCTC System Board of Supervisors meeting.
Thank you. So we're continuing renovations at our original board location, which I was only in for one half a meeting or 10 minutes. So instead we keep switching everywhere else. So we're going to continue to meet in this space until those renovations are completed. And so with that, read the recommendation. We recommend that the LCTC System Board of Supervisors approve a location change for the May 13th, 2026 and June 10th, 2026 board meetings. Be able to Baton Rouge Community College, Ardendale campus located at 2115 Lafayette Boulevard, Baton Rouge, Louisiana 70806, which is where we are right now.
Motion by Supervisor Butler McIntyre,
Is there a second?
Seconded by Supervisor Lowry. Thank you.
Is there any objection to the motion? Any questions? Hearing none, that motion passes. Chair Hardy?
Thank you, Supervisor Mount. Supervisor Butler McIntyre, are you back up? Are you prepared for the personnel action item for consideration by the board?
Putting that in coach summary.
I already knew that.
We're on number 11, and Toby, we're ready for the review and advisement revisions to LCTS systems policy number 6.003, leave for unclassified employees.
Yes, so this is policy again, is for review and advisement. And this is really seeking to clarify some of the statutes and regulations around the use of annual leave and sick leave, as well as terminal pay upon retirement. They include new language to seek that clarification, and also clarifies how leave payouts are handled upon termination, specifically for rehired retirees. There was some confusion about what that looked like for those. So this policy seeks to provide clarification for those issues.
Recommendation.
That recommends that the LCTC System Board of Supervisors accept for review and advisement the attached revisions to LCTC System Policy 6.003, leave for unclassified employees.
And we have no action required on that at this time. And we'll move to number 12. Review and advisement revisions to LCTC system policy number 6.011, prohibition and prevention of discrimination, harassment, and retaliation.
Yeah, so this policy, again, review and advisement as well. In the 2025 regular legislative session, Louisiana House Resolution 167 was passed, which urged public post-secondary educational institutions to implement formal policies and procedures to combat anti-Semitism on campus. In accordance with this resolution, we've integrated this working definition that's referenced in the resolution into the policy framework. So this allows us to respond to the intent of that resolution. There are no ongoing other requirements other than that. So it puts us in the right posture to align with that resolution from the legislature. Staff recommends that the LCTC System Board of Supervisors accept for review and advisement the attached revisions to LCTC System Policy 6.011, prohibition and prevention of discrimination, harassment, and retaliation.
Thank you, and there's no action required. So at this time, I would like to request a motion to enter into executive session so that we might discuss items J13 and J15.
Ms. Fu, will you take a roll call vote?
Yes, sir, we would be happy to do so.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, yes, motion in a second. I'm sorry, my fault.
Yes, yes.
Yes, we need a motion to.
A motion to go into executive session.
Motion by Supervisor Mount, seconded by Supervisor Lewis.
Is there no objection? The motion carries.
So this time roll call vote to enter into executive session, please.
Chair Hardy,
Yes.
okay, Supervisor Butler McIntyre,
Yes?
Supervisor Hall,
Yes.
Supervisor Hogan,
Yes.
Supervisor Holland,
Yes.
Supervisor Kelly,
Yes.
Supervisor Lowry,
Yes.
Supervisor Mount,
Yes.
and Supervisor Wilson.
Yes.
We're now entering into executive session.
I think we're walking. Y'all can stay here.
Yeah, control it, and look, it's all after
Great work. All right, you, thank you for coming on. Yeah, I'll say it on here. Y'all be safe on the road, right? I'm gonna reach out to you.
Just on the second floor, some on the first floor. We got full floor, but we can renovate. They'll be really nice. Yeah.
I was gonna say, hopefully, they're
We convened the meeting and stated that no votes were taken and the no consensus was reached during the executive session. Like for Ms. Poole, would you please, give a roll call to, reestablish the report, and then I'll say that again.
Yes, sir, I can do that for you. Chair Hardy
Present.
is present. Supervisor Butler McIntyre
I'm here.
is present. Supervisor Hall
Present.
is present. Supervisor Hogan is present. Supervisor Holland
Present.
is present. Supervisor Kelly
Present.
is present. Supervisor Lowry
Present.
is present. Supervisor Now
Present.
is present. Supervisor Wilkinson
Present.
is present. We do have an established quorum.
Thank you. Look, again, there were, no votes taken, nor were there any problem with consensus reached during the executive session. None of them. So at this time, Supervisor Butler McIntyre, will you continue to present the personnel action item for consideration by the board?
I'm back in coach. And we're ready for number 13, right? Pending and potential litigation or settlement of authority. I think that's, screen.
Yes, ma'am. Again, good morning, Chair and President Nelson and members of the board. In regard to settlement authority with a potential litigation around a vendor contract and requesting authority for settlement authority. Any questions? Can read the staff recommendation. Staff recommends that the LCTC System Board of Supervisors.
Yeah, I think we have a recommendation at our stations, right? You want him to check
Okay.
that? Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Does he need to read it, Mr. Chair?
Need to read it? Okay.
Yeah.
Staff recommends that the LCTC Board of Supervisors authorize the system president and board general counsel to negotiate a settlement between a former information technology vendor and the LCTC system due to an ongoing contractual dispute.
I think we can just add within the terms as discussed in executive session.
Yes.
Can I get a motion?
Yes.
Motion by Supervisor Hogan, seconded by Supervisor
Any discussion or questions? Hearing, seeing none, any objections? None, the motion carries. Number 14. Avoidance plan for Delgado Community College.
I'll go ahead and read the recommendation. Staff recommends that the LCTC System Board of Supervisors approve the layoff avoidance plan presented by Delgado Community College.
Motion by Supervisor Hall, seconded by Supervisor Hogan.
Any questions, discussion? Seeing none, are there any objections? There are none, so that motion also carries. Thank you, Mr. Chair. That concludes the Personnel Committee report.
Thank you, Supervisor Butler McIntyre. At this time, I'd like to reference the updates and encourage board members to review the information provided. I'd also ask if there's any additional business to come before this board. And I will ask Ms. Poole to note whether any public comments have been received.
No, sir, we have not.
Thank you, Ms. Poole, and I'd like to make the following announcements at your station. There's a list of college commencements. I encourage you to attend if possible, and please RSVP with Ms. Poole. Board members, this is a reminder that your annual Tier 2.1 disclosures are due by May 15th. Very important. To get those done, you'll be harassed if you have not gotten those done. The annual mandatory board training schedule for 2026 was sent out to all board members via email. The first set of trainings is due May 1st. Please let Ms. Poole know if you need further assistance. With that. Yep. Yeah, that's it. Okay, with that, is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion by Supervisor Wilkinson, seconded by Supervisor Hall.
We stand adjourned. Thank you all.